You don't need to. Oh, nice. Oh, Haribo. So Pablo, for good school. They put it here.
Sven?
Ja, daj. Okay. Pa jaz jutra.
Damodaraštaka. V mesecu Kartik je treba častiti gospoda Damodarov in vsak dan recitirati molitev z naslovom Damodaraštaka. Izgovoril je modrec Satyavrata in privlači gospoda Damodara. Ponižno se priklanjam Šri Damodari, vsevišnjemu gospodu, ki je utelešenje večnosti, znanja in blaženosti. Njegovi sijoči uhani nihajo sem ter tja ter poljubljajo njegova lica. Ko je v Gokuli uprizarjal svoje vzvišene zabave, je razbil vrč, v katerem je njegova mati pnila jogurt. Nato pa je iz hrambe ukradel maslo, ki so ga hranili obešenega visoko pod stropom. Zaradi te porednosti je v strahu pred materjo Jašodo urno pobegnil od lesenega možnarja, vendar ga je leta končno le ujela. V strahu pred šibo v materini roki joče in si z lotosovima ročicama znova in znova mane oči, polne strahu. Okrog vratu, ki ga krasijo 3 črte, da spominja na školjko, nosi biserno ogrlico, ki se zaradi hitrega dihanja ob njegovem joku trese. Ponižno se priklanjam Šri Damodari, vsevišnjemu gospodu, ki okrog trebuščka ni zvezan z vrvmi, temveč s čisto ljubeznijo svoje matere. Ko prebivalci Gokule opazujejo njegove otroške zabave, se utapljajo v oceanu blaženosti. Tistim, ki jih privlačita njegovo veličastje in obilje, daje vedeti, da ga lahko osvoji le zaupne ljubezen njegovih čistih bakt. Z veliko ljubeznijo in vdanostjo se 100krat in 100krat priklanjam gospodu Damodari. O Gospod, čeprav lahko podariš vse vrste blagoslovov, te ne prosim za brezosebno osvoboditev, niti za najvišjo vrsto odrešitve, večno življenje na Valkunti. Ne prosim te niti za katerokoli drugo izmed ugodnosti, ki si jih zagotovimo s posvečanjem 9. načinom bhakti. O Gospod, želim si le, da se tvoja podoba Bale Gopale iz Vrindavane zavedno naseli v mojem srcu. Kakšna je korist od kakršnega koli drugega blagoslova? O Gospod, mati Jašoda znova in znova poljublja tvoj lotosov obraz, obdan s kodri mehkih črnih las, tvoje ustnice pa so rdečkaste kot sadež bimba. Naj ta čudovita podoba tvojega lotosovega obraza zavedno vstopi v moje srce. Na tisoče drugih blagoslovov mi nič ne pomeni. O vsevišnji Gospod, ponižno se ti priklanjam. O Damodara, o Ananta, o Višnu, o Gospodar. O Gospod, bodi zadovoljen z mano. Blagoslovi me s svojim milostnim pogledom in odreši tega ubogega nevedneža, potopljenega v ocean materialnega trpljenja. Razludeni se mojim očem. O Gospod Damodara, čeprav te je mati privezala k lesenemu možnarju, si sinova Kuvere, Manigrivo in Nala Kuvaro osvobodil narodovega prekletstva in jima podaril čisto vdano služenje. Prosim, tudi meni podari to dragoceno prema bhakti, saj si ne želim nobene druge vrste odrešitve. O Gospod Damodara, naj se najprej poklonim bleščeče sijajni vrvi, ki veže tvoj trebušček. Nato se priklanjam tvojemu trebuščku, v katerem leži celotno vesolje. Ponižno se priklanjam tvoji najdražji Šrimati Radarjani in tebi, vsevišnjemu Gospodu, ki uprizarjaš neštete zabave. Vsa slava Šrimati Radarjani in Damodari Gospodu Krišni.
Yashoda Biyoluka Ladawamana Paramistamatyanta Drutya Gopya Sakampatri rekan kekanta Itam revam damodaram bhakti vada Salila bir ananda kunde Sagasani majantam Aikya payantam Jitatam Una premata stanza Tariti vande Chanya vindeham vare sarapiha बलम सदा मे मानस्यवि रसां किमन्यये idam te mukam mojam atyantanilai vintam kuntalai snigna ratasya gopya Shumvitam bimvaratnadarame manashavirastam malam laksalabhay Damodar Ananta Vishnu Prasida Prabodhuka Jalabhimatna Tanu Vihane Samamagyam Edyaksidrisha Mucita bhakti baja pritaucha Tata prema bhaktim sakyame prayacha namo segrahamesti damodareha Namaste Sudamne Spuradiptidamne Tvariyodharayata Viswasadamne Namo Radhikaya Dvadiya Priyaya Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhya Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Shri Radha Damodar ki.
Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Shodhanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya zaboravio sam pitati na kojemu jeziku večeras govorimo. Engleski, okay, so we'll speak in English. This gorgeous evening we're reading from Srimad Bhagavad-gita. As far as I was told, we're in chapter 6. Who of you has found the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad-gita to be your favorite? No one. Okay, I'll try to change that tonight. No, Arjuna hated it, man. You know, 6th chapter of the Bible, Arjuna really didn't like it. We're on text 18, right? No, 28. 26, 27, 28. Yunjameva sadatmanam Yogi vigata kalmashaha Sukhena brahma samsparsham Atyantam sukhamashnute Yunjameva sadatmanam Yogi vigata kalmashaha Sukhena Brahma samsparsham Atyantam Sukhamashnute. Would anyone like to chant? Yogi Vigata Kalmashaha Atyantam Sukhamashnute. Sukhena Brahma samsparsham Atyantam Sukhamashnute. Yunjanevam sadatmanam Yogi Vigata Kalmashaha Sukhena Brahma samsparsham Atyantam Sukhamashnute. Any lady perhaps? To strike a balance. Atmanam Atyantam Sukhamashnute. Nobody else? Okay. Word for word translation. Yunjan. Engaging in yoga practice. Evam. Thus. Sada. Always. Atmanam. The self. Yogi. One who is in touch with the Supreme Self. Vigata, freed from. Kalmasha, all material contamination. Sukhena, in transcendental happiness. Brahma samsparsham, being in constant touch with the Supreme. Atyantam, the highest. Sukham, happiness. Ashnute, attains. Translation. Thus the self-controlled yogi. Is that just me, or there's... Maybe it's just buzzing in my head. When I speak, is there like... Yeah, there's a reverb. Yeah. Could you cut the reverb completely out? Oh, it might be too loud. He's saying that might be too loud. Okay. Is it good? Is it okay now? Okay, I thought I was going crazy. Okay, I haven't gone there yet. Working on it though. It's a work in progress. Thus, the self-controlled yogi, constantly engaged in yoga practice, becomes free from all material contamination and achieves the highest stage of perfect happiness in transcendental loving service to the Lord. Purport. Self-realization means knowing one's constitutional position in relationship to the Supreme. The individual soul is part and parcel of the Supreme, and his position is to render transcendental service to the Lord. This transcendental contact with the Supreme is called Brahma Samsparsha. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalaka Chakshud Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. It's a fact. As I was growing up and developing interests, transcendental interests, I don't want to say I was a Mayavadi, but I really had strong Brahmavadi inclinations. And this kind of cosmic language that I ended up calling it a cosmic language of the Bhagavad-gita really appealed to me. And even after all these years, when I read these kind of statements, I get pulled out of my little world into a large world of Krishna consciousness. But having over the years also understood a little bit of Prabhupada's commentaries on it, and having understood the position of the verse in the book, and very specifically in this chapter, really made me gain additional even admiration for what's being said here. Does anyone, don't turn the screen on, does anyone remember what the verse stated? You remember that. Atyantam sukham ashnute. Oh, yeah, and Brahma samsparsha. Oh, you're good. You're good. Okay. Does anyone perhaps else remember anything? Just in case if you do. Pretty good, yeah. If you want to learn, I never learned Sanskrit, but I learned a lot of Sanskrit words, and not the grammar. And the Sanskrit in the Bhagavad-gita seems to be very simple. Very simple. Even I understand all of this. What's being said today in the verse. Could you pull it up, just the Sanskritam, who's the remote Ishvara? Oh, there it is. Don't delete. It's asking you to delete something you probably don't want to delete. That happened to me recently on a plane. I didn't know what to do with the phone, and I looked around for the youngest person around me. And could you help me with this? So, excellent. Yeah, that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got them all. Thank you. Very simple Sanskritam. Yunjan, that's the first one. The word yoga comes from it. Means to connect, means to link up. And this is, from what I can see, it's some kind of active verb, means that it is going on. And that's why it indicates a constant connection. It indicates someone who's constantly connected. Yunjan. Eva means certainly. Sada means always. Atma means What does Atma mean? Self. Self. Atma means self. Means I. Self. Refers to self. And then we have... What is... Oh, I'm on a wrong verse. Yogi, okay, we get that. Yogi, so yogi in terms of yunjan is someone who is connected. So first line we have connection, certainly always self. So the self that it's certainly always connected. That's literally what it says. And yogi is the person who is connected. Vigata means freed from, and kalmashaha, I think you all know this word. Kali kalmashanashanam. Yeah, faults, bad things. Kalmasha means bad things, evil things. Very often this word indicates sin, like bad things, dirty things, unwanted things. Sin, very often. So vigata yogi, so someone is connected. Self, that it's always connected. That yogi, vigata kalmasha, that person who is so connected is freed from, it's saved from bad things. That's what the first two lines are saying. And then the third one is sukhena. Sukha, I guess we all know this, right? Sukha means what? Happiness, right? Brahma. Brahman means spirit. As opposed to matter. It's just a different dimension, right? And in that dimension we'll find everything, the soul, God, and it's just a category of existence, Brahma. And samsparsha, sparsha means touch. And samsparsha means a very good touch, if I understand it correct. Like in Sanskrit, very well done. Or sankirtana, very well done kirtana, completely done kirtana. So samsparsha, let me see just a sec. Brahma samsparsha. Prabhupada didn't translate it, just the word itself. Okay. So sukhena means happily, in happiness. Also in Sanskritam, this can sometimes, if I understand it correctly, can also mean easily. Like if you do something in happiness, means you do it easily. But direct meaning is happy. So in happiness, Brahma samsparsha, one comes in touch with the spiritual. That's what it says. And then the last one is atyantam, sukham ashnute. Atyantam, anta means end, let me see. Atyantam. Anta means end. And atyanta means beyond end, endless. Prabhupada translates it highest. Sukham, happiness, ashnute, achieves. So what did we read? How would you translate this verse then? Would anyone dare to? Just literal translation. Of course we have Srila Prabhupada's translation here. Could you be louder? No. The self being always connected. Not just bad things, like horrible things, sin or whatever. Sin falls into that category also. In happiness or easily comes in contact with Brahman and thus achieves highest happiness. Yeah. Excuse me. So what's the subject matter of this verse? Happiness. Okay, good. Yeah, we could say that the subject matter of this verse is happiness. What else would you say is the subject matter of this? What is it? How to achieve the happiness. What did you say? Which one? Sukhena, okay. And also yogi and yunjam, that's practically the same word. And sukham also. So happiness is the subject matter of today's verse, and also it tells us how does one become happy? How does one become happy? Da. Sjedi jedan. Majavadi. Ne, šalim se. How does one become happy? By becoming an impersonalist. One becomes happy by coming in contact with Brahman, by getting in touch with the spirit. That's how one becomes happy. And one who does that is known as yogi. One who does that is known as yogi. And of course, Srila Prabhupada in the purport puts a lot of commentary. Like he spells it out, how do you do that? I mean, what does that mean? What does it mean to be in contact? Or to be connected? So, here's Prabhupada's translation again. Thus, the self-controlled yogi, constantly engaged in yoga practice, that's the translation to that yunjam. Keep the Sanskritam here. That's the translation to the first line. Thus, the self-controlled yogi, constantly engaged in yoga practice, becomes free from all material contamination. Prabhupada translated kalmasha as material contamination. And that's, kalmasha means that. It means more than that. And achieves the highest stage of perfect happiness in transcendental loving service to the Lord. Now, this is not stated in the verse directly, but it is implied. So, I don't know, it's difficult for me to speak on this verse without covering a few more verses. And I don't mean to spoil lectures that are going to come, but I will just I will just quickly read the following verses. Yeah, really quick. That's what I was about to say. And what's interesting, we read the same thing this morning in the Bhagavatam class, like the very same thing. As a matter of fact, this thing's been repeated all over the place. So the next verse says, don't move, just leave it up here, whoever has the remote. Again, very simple Sanskritam, but I will not go through Sanskrit, just the English translation. A true yogi observes me in all beings. So this is what it means to be connected. This connection is now explained. And it means a true yogi. So now yogi is being further described. Here we have connection, and we have a person who is connected. And we have the end result, one of the end results. And so yogi is, a true yogi observes me in all beings, and also sees every being in me. That's the connection. One who sees me in every being and sees every being in me. This is Krishna speaking. That's why in this verse, Srila Prabhupada speaks about Krishna, even though Krishna's not mentioned. But Krishna's mentioned in the next verses, in the following verses. Indeed, the self-realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere. And then the text 30, I know it's one of the first verses I ever memorized. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra, sarvam chamai pashyati, tasyaham na pranashami, sacha me na pranashyati. Anyone else memorize this verse, maybe? No. Anyone heard this verse before? You have, okay. What's the translation to this verse? Same as the verse before. The same thing stated, just in different words. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra. One who sees me everywhere. And who sees everything in me. In the verse before it was one who sees others in me and me in others. And here it says one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra, sees me everywhere. Sarvam chamai pashyati, and sees everything in me. Such a person, na pranashyati, is not destroyed, lost, disconnected, etc. In other words, when one loses this vision, one is considered not to be a yogi at that moment. One has lost the connection. He's never lost to me, nor am I ever lost to him. And text 31. Such a yogi who engages in the worshipful service of the Super Soul, knowing that I and the Super Soul are one, remains always in me in all circumstances. Sarva bhuta sthitam yo mam, one who sees me situated in all beings, basically. Prabhupada speaks of the Super Soul. And here's a good one, they're all good ones. Atmaupam yena sarvatra samam pashyati yorjuna sukham vayadi vadukam sayogi paramo mataha. And thus, who is the highest of all yogis? If you know perhaps this verse. Who is the highest of all yogis? Bhakti yogi, no. No. I mean, that's all true, you're all right, but not in this verse. Correct. That's a person. So what is the symptom of one who is connected? What is the symptom of one who is connected? So one who sees Krishna everywhere and sees everything in Krishna. One who sees all beings in Krishna and Krishna in all beings. That's a yogi, that's a connected person. And that person, what is the symptom that that person is truly such a yogi? And therefore the highest of all yogis, compassion, ability to feel what others are feeling. Very interesting, or empathy, yeah. Very interesting. Such a person is able to feel with, feel the happiness of others. Or by having certain experiences that you interpret as pleasant or unpleasant, therefore you don't want to inflict certain, if they're unpleasant experiences onto others. And if you deem them pleasant, you feel happy to give that same experience to others. Like, very interesting, just verse by itself has no religious demand on you. Because it's just purely moral demand. And this is very interesting because religious people have this terrible tendency to separate religion from morality and elevate religion above morality as if that's even possible, and then behave in horrible ways. Germans, Nazis did this with Germany. Deutschland, Deutschland, überall. Deutschland, Deutschland, above everything and everyone. And therefore we can do anything, anyhow. And then comes the Arjuna's response. Oh, Krishna, I can't do that. Arjuna says, I cannot do that. Why does Arjuna think he cannot do that? Does anyone remember? This is 6th chapter of the Bhagavad-gita. No. Yeah, because he's thinking, oh, I have to control the mind. Like this is purely a mental thing, hinged completely on my mental abilities, on my mental self-discipline. But he obviously hasn't understood Krishna consciousness yet. There is. Mental discipline is a large aspect of anything, let alone Krishna consciousness. But it's not the sole thing, not the only thing. As a matter of fact, seeing Krishna everywhere and everything in Krishna is a devotional vision. From the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Uddhava and Krishna are having conversation. And Krishna was speaking something about yoga practice and mental discipline and so on. And Uddhava has the same reaction like Arjuna. Same reaction. And then he's asking, could you give me something like, something that I can do actually? To which Krishna responds by telling them the same thing as the Bhagavad-gita here. You should learn to see me everywhere. And how will you do that? And he said, by abandoning all pride and the ridicule of people who might be looking, and falling down on all fours, on your knees and hands, and offering obeisances even to the lowest of creatures, such as worms, dogs, hogs, camels, asses, like all of the beings. And so this is the practice that Krishna recommended Uddhava. Why? Why did Krishna recommend this to Uddhava? So that he could practice this. So that he could develop the ability to see Krishna everywhere. And that's precisely the difference between a neophyte and an advanced devotee. Advanced devotee, neophyte devotee, when there comes a clash of interests, a neophyte devotee doesn't see Krishna anymore in you. And becomes very harsh. As a matter of fact, hates your guts. To put it in plain English. Yeah, well, what I'm thinking, it's late at night, and every time you read, like people lose focus, but I'll read it and whatever happens. This is from the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam, 29th chapter. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Yes, I shall describe to you the principles of devotion to me, by executing which a mortal human being will conquer unconquerable death. Always remembering me, one should perform all his duties for me without becoming impetuous. With mind and intelligence offered to me, one should fix his mind in attraction to my devotional service. One should take shelter of holy places where my saintly devotees reside, either alone or in public gatherings with singing, dancing, and other exhibition of royal opulence. One should arrange to celebrate those holy days, ceremonies, and festivals set aside especially for my worship. With a pure heart, one should see me, the Supreme Soul, within all beings and also within oneself. To be both unblemished by anything material and also present everywhere, both externally and internally." How does that go in the morning prayers by Sri Prahlad? By the prayers to Sri Prahlad, by the prayers to Lord Nrsimhadeva. Bahir Nrsimha, Hridaye Nrsimha. That Nrsimha is outside and also on the inside. Wherever I look, there is Nrsimha. And also present everywhere, both externally and internally. Just like the omnipresent sky. Do you know what omnipresent sky is? No. Do you know what it refers to? Omnipresent sky. Ka. Ether means space. Just like the space is omnipresent, like present everywhere. I mean, everything's within it. It encompasses everything. So it gives you a very cosmic vision of Krishna. Oh, brilliant Uddhava, one who thus views all living entities with the idea that I am present within each of them, and who, by taking shelter of this divine knowledge, offers due respect to everyone. So one sees Krishna everywhere and therefore offers due respect to everyone. Is considered actually wise. Such a man sees equally the Brahmana and the outcast, the thief and the charitable promoter of Brahminical culture, the sun and the tiny sparks of fire, the gentle and the cruel. For him who constantly meditates upon my presence within all persons, the bad tendencies of rivalry, envy, and abusiveness, along with false ego, are very quickly destroyed. That means whenever a person displays these, means that the person has lost this divine vision, not a yogi anymore, lost the connection. But by maintaining this connection, there is no rivalry. There is no envy. Because you get this Brahman vision. Get this Krishna vision. And then, disregarding the ridicule of one's companions, one should give up the bodily conception and its accompanying embarrassment. One should offer obeisances before all, even the dogs, outcasts, cows and asses, falling flat upon the ground like a rod. This is the practice. And for the end, I'll just read the text from this morning, Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 11th chapter, text 2. The white and fat-bowled conchal. This is when Krishna is about to enter Dwarka. He blows the conch, right? You were here this morning. So, being gripped by the hand of Lord Krishna and sounded by him, appeared to be reddened by the touch of his transcendental lips. It seemed that a white swan was playing in stems of red lotus flowers. And in the purport, Prabhupada says the following: the redness of the white conchal due to the lip touch, or the touch of the lip, of the Lord is a symbol of spiritual significance. So that red lips touching the white conchal is a symbol of spiritual significance. What is the significance? The Lord is all spirit, and matter is ignorance of this spiritual existence. Factually, there is nothing like matter in spiritual enlightenment. Prabhupada wrote this many times. I'll read it again. Factually, there is nothing like matter in spiritual enlightenment. If you look and you see matter, you don't see right. If you see right, you do see matter, but matter is yet another energy of Krishna, another form of Brahman. Factually, there is nothing like matter in spiritual enlightenment, and the spiritual enlightenment takes place at once by the contact of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. So what happens when one comes in contact with Krishna? Like this conch, which is sort of like an inanimate, dead object. When it comes in contact with the red lips of Krishna, comes alive. So similarly, an ignorant soul, when coming in contact with Krishna consciousness, what happens to that soul? It gets awakened to spiritual reality, that there is no matter. I mean, there is matter, but it's not matter the way typical people see it. But they see property of Krishna. They see themselves as property of Krishna. They see Krishna everywhere. They see everything within Krishna. It's like being on a good LSD. Man, this is awesome. Got some more? This is one of the reasons why Bhagavad-gita was very popular among the hippies in Prabhupada's times. Man, this old guy is tripping really hard. Meaning Prabhupada. It's like, oh, Hare Krišna. The Lord is present in every particle of all existence, and He can manifest His presence in anyone. By ardent love and devotional service to the Lord, or in other words, by spiritual contact with the Lord, everything becomes spiritually reddened, like the conchal in the grip of the Lord. And the Paramahamsa, or the supremely intelligent person, plays the part of the ducking swan in the water of spiritual bliss, like the swan plays in the lake, diving in the stems of the lotus flowers. So Paramahamsas like that, they're diving in the chance. So a Paramahamsa does not perceive this world as a godless place, but literally sees Krishna everywhere. And the purpose of that person here is to share the vision with everyone else. But what tends to interrupt that vision is called kama. Kama is the knife that cuts it. And when the eyes are covered with kama instead of with prema, then the person sees matter and sees opportunities for selfish enjoyment or sensual gratification, like that, and the spiritual vision is gone. And that typically happens among the neophytes when there's a clash of interests. And then there's the enmity and whatnot, duality and so on. And the Paramahamsas, or the supremely intelligent person, Paramahamsas, plays the part of the ducking swan in the water of spiritual bliss, eternally decorated by the lotus flower of the Lord's feet. Poetically, Prabhupada put it. Okay, so that was my attempt to try to bring up the meaning of the Sanskritam of this verse today. Om Tat Sat. Any questions or comments, perhaps? Yes. That was a joke. That was a joke. Yeah, because in this chapter, Arjuna said, the last verse that I didn't read, but I just referred to, that Arjuna, after hearing Krishna say all of this, which is pretty amazing, very beautiful vision. Like, you look at this wall, and you don't see a stupid wall with no meaning. As a matter of fact, you see a spiritual bounty, bounty, what's the word? Spiritual opulence. You see life, you see the Supreme Personality of God, you see Krishna everywhere, everything in Krishna. But Arjuna's reaction was, no, Manahi Chanchala Krishna. How does that verse go? The mind certainly is Chanchala, O Krishna. Who can follow this? Because he felt that in order to be a yogi, to be connected, it's a matter of only mental discipline. I mean, certainly there's a requirement of mental discipline, but it's not all. There's a natural attraction in Krishna. And as a budding yogi, you know what a budding yogi is? The yogi that's just blossoming, about to blossom. A young yogi, as the young yogi has experiences of the pleasure of discovering Krishna, the heart naturally becomes changed. Because when we talk about mental discipline, it's all on us, like you have to endeavor. But when you're attracted, it's not that you don't have to endeavor, you're conquered. You're overtaken. That's the nature of attraction. So that's why I was joking that Arjuna didn't like the 6th chapter. Okay. Yes.
In one lecture I heard that Krishna, regard to the words Sarvadharma Parityajya, that Krishna is actually saying, whatever I told you before, you just forget about it and just Sarvadharma, just surrender to me. Forget everything what I told you, just surrender to me. So how would you comment on that?
Yeah, well, that's not different from what we're reading right now, because Krishna's telling Arjuna the same thing, and is telling him the process of surrendering to Krishna. I mean, that is the conclusion of the Bhagavad-gita. But it's just, it's like that statement, Antar bahir yadi haris tapasa tata kim. Nantar bahir yadi haris tapasa tata kim. I can't remember the third line. It doesn't matter, but it says that if you see Krishna inside and out, Hari, if you see Hari inside and out, what use is of what use are austerities, tapasya? And if you don't see Hari inside and out, of what use is tapasya? And then you have these devotees, I call them Hawaii devotees, but might be offensive towards devotees. I don't mean to do that. But Hawaii devotees, that's like, devotees in Hawaii are not like that. I know quite a few of them. So, I don't know where the term comes from, but there's even a joke that devotees in Hawaii follow not 4 but 3 regulative principles: no meat, fish, and eggs. It's like, which is also not true. Well, maybe it's true in case of some individuals. But that's a concept of a devotee who's cheating, who's just being a lazy bum. And therefore concludes, there is no need for tapasya. Hello. But if you're trying to be a devotee, you will naturally perform all kinds of tapasya. You will sell books, for example. You will fast on Ekadashi. You might be celibate. You may marry. That's also tapasya. So, same thing when Krishna says sarva dharma parityaja, that's sort of like the summary, Like if we were to summarize everything, this is it. But it's just like when we say, I remember Giriraj Swami was giving this lecture, and there was these followers of Narayan Maharaj, and Narayan Maharaj was, he was not fair at all. Maybe even behaving like